Greetings, MFL Year 33 members. We have completed round one of our silent bidding, and that went about as smooth as it ever has, despite the fact, again, that I know there are several people who are very busy this time of year, and I really appreciate you guys just taking the time to talk to me about stuff and get stuff in. So, yeah, everybody's doing great. Appreciate that. I have submitted my second round bids. So there are 3 bids that you can now do again. You are not required to bid, but keep in mind you do get a little bit of rookie money for the bids. Not very much, but it every little bit helps, right? We will have a third round this year. That will be a 2-bid round. Just know I'm going to be busy starting about Friday through Sunday, so we may have a little hiatus over the weekend here before we jump into that last round. We may even need to pause in the middle of the second round depending on how far we get. So just know that obviously I'll try if I can to keep up with things and if it doesn't turn into a actual 3-day pause, there will probably just be windows of time where I'm not quite able to get things updated as I would like to. So just be aware of that. On this updated document that has been posted to the chat in Sleeper, I did go ahead and repost or re-include the list of franchised players. So these people need to be gone in and kept on your roster if they have not been already. I haven't checked, but you should go in and probably as we go, just keep checking people off so we don't fall behind. In addition to franchise players now, anyone on this list of round 1 signings should now also be marked as a keeper. And I do believe I have moved these players, if they did move rosters, to the correct roster so that you can mark them as a keeper. I would definitely say if you see any errors or omissions, and there are almost always some, please let me know, and I'll get that fixed. We did take Alexander Madison completely off, so that's kind of like a non-issue right now, and other than that, I think there's really no. It's all pretty straightforward. Chuba Hubbard went to Houston. Joe Burrow went to Toledo. Saquon Barkley went to Army. T.J. Hawkinson went to CDs. Malik Neighbors went to Army. Kareem Hunt went to Cleveland, and Michael Penix Jr. went to the Quakenados. And then if you skip down the bottom, Chris Godwin went to the Coyotes. All of those transactions should result in an extra keeper for that signing team. So Army gets a couple. But instead of 12 at the end of all this, those teams will get 13. And in the case of Army, will get 14 if they want them. I still have this feeling that, it'll just be maybe a lot of kickers and defenses and stuff like that. But frankly, part of the process, again, is to speed up our live auction because I know we start late and we usually go late. So anything we can do to kind of make that process go more smoothly. And again, part of that is, for example, I'm not coaching necessarily Army here on what they're doing, but they're kind of doing what I do a lot, which is spend a lot of money on that top end. And I think that's good because it sets franchise salaries. It makes people think. It keeps the competitive balance alive and that sort of thing. But then in the end, at the back end, it maybe makes things a little trickier. And maybe that's a consequence of high bidding. Maybe that should be the way it is. But I just kind of want to see how this goes. And like I said, if it sucks, then we don't have to do it. But I just felt like there should be not so much of a penalty if you are actually signing players off of other teams, because it's hard to account for that, considering how many bids you may have to match or not match, and and considering how many people may let their players come to you. So just a little buffer there, I guess, is the main thing. So wow, here I am explaining again. So those transactions were all for an extra keeper. These folks are not for an extra keeper. Chase Brown, Army, Brian Thomas, Gray Squirrels, Jacoby Myers, Quake Natos, Drake May for Army, Baker Mayfield for the Posse, Bo Nix for the Posse, Derrick Henry for the Ass Kickers, Bucky Irving for the Gray Squirrels, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Coyotes, Brock Bowers for the Gray Squirrels, Tucker Kraft for Army, Darnell Mooney for the Ass Kickers, and Matt Stafford for Cleveland. Those were just matched, and theoretically, I would assume they were probably already kind of finger quotes keepers if they weren't bid on or whatever. So that's why I feel like they're not taking up a spot, I guess, is the main thing. So so there you go. Again, I have put my bids in, and if we can get this thing rolling, here it is. On Tuesday morning? Maybe we can get this at least in a good shape by Friday morning, when I'm going to again be a little out of pocket for a while. So just not sure about my cell phone access and my computer access during the Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up. So just be aware of that. If you guys have questions or if you see something that needs to be corrected, you definitely let me know, and I will continue with the video updates. I am enjoying them. Stay safe out there.